Hey guys, it's Stasia and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be going into all of the books that I read in the month of July. A couple months ago I started this thing where I did like my book haul and all the things that I got in the month and my wrap up, but July was my birthday month, so I have over 20 books that I have accumulated from me buying or from friends gifting them. So I will be doing my book haul later. Hopefully the video after this will be my book haul. So today we would just be going into my wrap up, which is great because I had a pretty great reading month, honestly. I was going pretty slow for a few months, but I got back into it in July, so yeah. So to get into my stats, I read a total of 13 books, which came out to 5,087 pages, so that is very good. Of those, 3 were contemporary, 2 were dystopian, 2 mystery, 5 romance, and 1 thriller. The format that I read them, I did 7 physical books, 6 ebooks, and 6 of the books that I read were either primarily audio or like an audiobook mixed with the physical or ebook. So the first book that I read was Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. I won't go too much into this one because this is actually a part of a vlog that I filmed and that is already up. This book is a part of when I read my friend Elle's favorite books. So yeah, I ended up giving this one 4 stars and that is all I'll tell you. I will link the vlog in the cards and description so that you guys can check it out if you're interested on more of my thoughts. Then throughout the month, it was scattered, not back to back, but I will just bunch them together because it's a series. So the next 4 books that I will talk about is the Hunted series by Ivy Smoke. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but the first one is Temptation, the second is Addiction, third is Eruption, and then the last one is Devotion. So I read all 4 of these. I loved them all, honestly. So this basically is like a romance set in like a university setting type of thing, where it is between it is a romance between a professor and one of their students. So yeah, I vibed with it. I really liked it. I gave the first book 4 stars, the second book 3 stars, the third book 4 stars, and then the last book 4.5 stars. I loved it. Honestly, it was such a fun time. I really enjoyed reading that, and I've become mildly obsessed with the author, so now I'm working on trying to find more of her books that I can read. So those were that 4. Then we'll get into my next book, which is When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. I actually ended up reading this and hosted the live show for the Shelf This Book Club. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. We had a great discussion with varying opinions and varying ratings, which I really enjoyed. This is about 2 friends named Cleo and Layla. We follow Cleo as her and Layla kind of stop being friends. So this is basically about a friendship breakup in high school. It's very much high school-esque. So if you kind of have outgrown the interest in reading about high school students and how they act, probably not the one for you, but I really loved it. I think this is a very important conversation to be had, that friendship breakups do happen a lot. As you grow older, you just kind of grow apart from people, and that's totally okay, even if they were once your very best friend. I really enjoyed this one. It is a very young voice, but like I said, I believe they're like sophomores in high school. I'm not sure, but they mention it at some point. So they're like sophomores in high school, and Cleo sees Layla kind of being herself. She's more of the extroverted friend, and Cleo is more introverted. So she sees that Layla is, you know, going out there, making new friends and all of this stuff, and she kind of feels like she's being left behind. So it is dual timeline. after their friendship has ended, and then the days, events, and stuff leading up to why their friendship had ended. Next, I read both Catching Fire and Mockingjay to finish off the Hunger Games series. I read the first one last month in June as a reread to prepare myself for the next two. I have not read the prequel, not sure if I ever will, but yeah, if you don't know what this world is about, it's pretty it's pretty well known at this point, but it's about the 12 districts. Every year 2 people from each district, a boy and a girl, gets chosen to go into this game called the Hunger Games, and in those games is basically the fight to the death. So Catching Fire is my favorite of the series. I gave this one 5 stars, and then I gave Mockingjay 4 stars. I thought it was an excellent way to finish off the trilogy. They did it really well. I just felt like Catching Fire had so much going on in it, and I was just engaged the entire time. I really loved it. So that's this series. Next, I read Since You've Been Gone. I read this for the Tarot readathon. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. It's about a girl named Emily, and her best friend Sloane kind of just disappears out of nowhere. After she disappears, Sloane ends up sending Emily a letter with 13 things to do, and Emily goes on a mission to complete everything on the list because she thinks that after she completes everything, it will lead her back to her best friend Sloane. I really loved it. The chapters are really long, and this is kind of big for contemporary, but it's really long within reason. Every single chapter is basically one thing that Emily needs to cross off of the list. Chapter 9 is break something, and that's something on the list. So I really loved how this really focused on the list. I was scared that after reading the synopsis, the list was gonna kind of be on the back burner, but it doesn't. It's very much at the forefront of the book. That's literally what the book follows. In the beginning of the book, she has a letter, and it has 13 things to do. Something else I also enjoyed in this book was that our main character Emily is a runner. So while she runs, she makes playlists, and throughout the book we actually have like playlists that you could also, you know, create yourself and listen to. So I thought that was a really fun addition. Next, I listened to an audiobook from NetGalley, and it is called 33 Women by Isabel Ashdown. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. It was very, I'm not sure, like I wasn't sure what was going on most of the time. I don't have the book, so I cannot remember characters' names because I kind of suck at that. But it follows 2 timelines. One, when this facility is just starting, and then the second timeline is following a murder. So we're trying to figure out how they connect. So it's basically about this home for women, not really a refuge, but they don't call it a refuge. So it's basically about this home for women where they can go and live, basically. It follows multiple characters throughout the book, and you're kind of just figuring out what's actually going on with this house, refuge, whatever you want to call it. People are saying it's a cult, and they're just like, we're not a cult, we are just helping women, and all of this fun stuff. So there's definitely secrets that are being kept. There's definitely some mystery going on. You're trying to figure out how this murder connects with this place, and if this place is responsible, this, that, and the other. The audiobook I got on NetGalley was not the best quality, so that kind of hindered my enjoyment of it, but that is at no fault to the book itself. I did really enjoy the book. The ending I did not see coming at all. Like the biggest reveal, I could not see it from a mile away, so I think that is a good sign as to a thriller mystery being a good book. Next, I read Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I gave this 5 stars. Absolutely loved it, just like the first book. This continues the story in following Pip, and she is just trying to solve a case. Someone is going missing, so she is trying to figure out why they're missing, what happened, all that kind of stuff. This has like a podcast element, so you can also see like how she's feeling about things and like her breaking everything down. There's a lot of mixed media, so like photos and things like that. I thought this was amazingly well done. I really love Pip, her brain, I love it. The way that the reveal comes together, like everything makes sense, and I love that. Although she is like a younger protagonist and this is a YA, it's still like super enjoyable. I know a lot of people don't like YA thrillers, mysteries, but this one is very well done. It definitely lives up to the sequel. You don't necessarily need to read the first book because this does kind of stand on its own. It's following a new mystery, but I do highly recommend you do read the first book first, because in this book it does touch on the resolution of the first book, so it kind of does spoil that. But if you don't care that much and you just want to follow a mystery and not really get like the side story, then you can read it without it. The next book I read was Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I actually read this for Ryland's Escape for 24 Hours, 24 and 48 readathon thing. I really enjoyed it, loved it, gave it 5 stars. This is probably my new favorite Riley Sager book. I read them all except for The Last Time I Lied. I do have it up there, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. But so far, this is my new favorite Riley Sager. I really, really loved it. If you do not know what this is about, it's like set in the 90s, and our main character, Charlie, her best friend has been murdered by a serial killer. So she just wants to get out of the dorm room, doesn't want to be in that space anymore, so she ends up getting a ride from a stranger named Josh, who basically says that he's going to take her home because it's on the way to where he's going. A little bit into the ride, Charlie starts to think that she's actually riding with the serial killer, so she's really starting to wonder if he is the serial killer and what's actually happening. This is the first book in a while that I was actually getting scared while reading it. While reading this, I constantly felt like I was being watched. It was just creeping me out. There's really short chapters, which made it amazing. I loved the ending. I know a lot of people did not like the ending, but I loved how everything came together and how everything was revealed and things like that. So I gave this one 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. And then the last book that I read is called The Highland Fling by Megan Quinn. This was an arc also from NetGalley, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was such a fun book. It's basically about a romance about 2 friends who kind of feel stuck in life. So when they see an ad to work at a coffee shop for 6 months in Scotland, they pack their bags from LA and move to Scotland. I cannot remember her name, but it follows our main character and her romance with, you know, a big Scotland man, and it was just so fun. I loved the banter between them, that they were constantly always making a fuss at each other. It was such a fun book, honestly. Read through it super quickly. It also changed perspectives from the female protagonist and then the love interest, which I thought was super fun. But yeah, not only was it fun to read about the romance, but there's also the friendship. The side characters were so good. I loved the side characters. They were so much fun, and honestly, it was just a fun time. It was so easy to read. It went by super quick, and I just enjoyed my time reading it. That is the last book that I read in the month of July. If you've read any of these books, or if any of these are on your TBR, let me know down below. We can chat. But that's all from me today. Keep on the lookout for my July book haul. I promise it is a lot, but yeah, so you can like, comment, and subscribe down below if you would like. All of my socials to follow me anywhere else are in the description, as well as some Discord servers if you are interested. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!